Hi folks, Clinton here again. I was going to share some more stuff with you guys on what you can do with that little setup I was talking about. And basically what I got here is I got some little modeling clay that I borrowed from my son Talon and stuck them to the end of those rods that I did the demonstration for last time. And basically it's going to help add for a little bit of a weight so you can dealing with a weighted side on one side to the other. And I got some little stuff here I wanted to share with you, so I'm going to jump on over to the other chair and show you some stuff working with the flashlight as a mock torch source. So I have some modeling clay molded on the end to basically look like a small section of tubing or rod. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate that in the flame so you can basically get an idea of the weight that you're going to be dealing with as you start to go up in scale and size of your objects. So basically I have two handles set up with ribbons, but with some modeling clay so I can actually hold weight. I'm going to try to synchronize those rotations in the light while keeping those ribbons synchronized. And you want to practice working your light or your heat at one source and slowly working it down to the other. So you want to paint a line of light going down your tubing or your rod. And you want to make sure to keep your light away from your handle source, otherwise you might lose your handle. So that's one of the tips you want to keep in mind while you're heating this up. You don't want to get your handle side too hot, because if it does, when you're doing that in glass, it'll just drip right off. So that's one of the things you want to keep in mind. Practice this with different rods. Practice this from both different sides. You can practice it one-handed by heating up just the end, and you want to practice coming in at all angles, once again using the axis shift so you can basically utilize gathering the glass by holding it back so it falls into itself, or holding it down so it droops away from itself. As the glass gets hot, it's reacting with gravity and it wants to fall. And the torch is adding heat to it. So by keeping it there hot, it's going to naturally want to fall. That's the reason why we have to rotate it, because we're constantly keeping it centered on the axis. But like I said earlier, if we go too far this way, we're going to hit our handle and then our little rod is going to fall off the smaller rod because it's gathering way more heat. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. Okay, now I have another rod over here set up with a larger handle and a glob setting up as basically a small gather or a marble. And you want to practice rotating it directly in the light so that way you know that that section is getting hot, and then also utilizing what we just discussed earlier, tilting your axes and controlling it. Now, with the sphere, there's lots of things to keep in mind. If you stay focused on the equator, which is this line here, dead center, then it's going to want to gather up there. And if you focus too much on either end, it's going to basically puddle out that way. So what I do to kind of control that is to create like a massaging force of gravity and heat falling into itself and then away from itself. And I kind of find a good balance to where it just slightly balances on that perfect pendulum point between falling too far one way or falling too far to the next. And it just stays perfectly balanced there, but it's massaging it with gravity and with the way your heat is rising. And it's affecting the mass that you're spinning. So the idea is to keep it in the light and to keep spinning it and realize that once you start heating up the glass, it's going to start reacting. And the faster it falls, pretty much the faster you got to spin. One of the things that's nice, if you need to spin faster, is you could actually use a smaller rod like this, and in the future you'll be able to chuck up to a secondary size and then on up to a larger size. The problem is with that is you're going to be limited to weight because the rod can only stand so much weight. But you can actually get quite quick with a spin with just this alone. If you notice, this size rod, watch the ribbon. Now I can basically completely rotate it around with one twist of my finger. Now if you're doing really super precision work and you need absolute control, that is one nice thing to keep in mind while working smaller rod. You can actually do a really nice rock back and forth from 12 o'clock position of the flag all the way around to 12 o'clock position. What you want to consider while you're heating is there's always a dark side. If you see here, this side of the rod is hot, but that side of the rod isn't. So the idea of rotating is that all sides get heated equally. That is the key. You can use it to manipulate later on in shaping, as far as using gravity to help you acquire a certain desired shape. Now, one of the things that's nice is to basically have a good understanding of more than just straight backward and forward rotations, more than just holding and slumping and dropping. You have to learn to be able to basically slump just a single section of the tube away from itself to get a shape. So basically, you want to keep just one spot in the flame and learn how to get it from all sides to where just that one side gets heat. So that way you can focus just one small little detailed work on one little section. So that's really important. Another thing you can do while you have these little globulars set up is you can practice with your smaller rod. You can practice actually placing dots in the flame or in the light onto your object. Now these receive a nice little stamp well. You can go through and add little dents, and you go through and you keep it in the light and you add little dents. So this is just some little modeling clay that I borrowed from my son, and you can find it at a little play store nearby. Modeling clay, Play-Doh, whatever. Just something to get some weight on the ends of your rods. And yeah, that's pretty much covers the next little lesson. Good luck, y'all. This will help you start to manage some weight. You know, you can have fun and make a dance out of it. That's what I do. I try to envision the object being evenly massaged with heat from all directions. And how can I apply heat that light, heat, and gravity can all be shared equally to get a desired shape? Once you understand it and you get it naturally ingrained in your blood, it just sinks right out of you. I just so magical. It's so magical. I'm so blessed, and really wanted to share something with all you people out there that really want to get into this, but don't really feel like you got a way to do it. I started out with the simplest torch, with a small welding torch, small gas welding torch. It's a single tip torch, and worked my way up the ladder. I didn't even have a kiln when I started. I didn't even have a shop for that matter. I didn't even have a house for that matter. And slowly worked my way up the totem pole, and I'll tell you what, I wish I saw this video when I got started, but glad to share. Much love, y'all. Ciao.